Welcome to Janus's Driver Safety Driving in the Rain. Be careful, when it's wet out there, it's slippery. Remember that when your windshield wipers are on, your headlights are on as well. You want to make sure that even during the spring and summer, you have good windshield wiper blades. Make sure there's no nicks, pits, tears. You want to make sure that the wiper blade is smooth so that it rides across the surface of your windshield evenly. Make sure that both wiper blades are working, not just the one in front of the driver. Otherwise, it's not a safe condition to drive in, especially in the rain. These wiper blades are working well, but perhaps should be at a faster speed in order to keep up with the amount of rain that's falling. Remember also that you need to know what type of brakes you have, old standard brakes versus anti-lock brakes. If you have the old standard brakes and need to stop quickly on a wet surface, you need to pump your brakes. Click. If you have anti-lock brakes, never pump your brakes. Step firmly on your brakes when you need your car to stop. You can't pump your brakes as effectively as the car will, and pumping anti-lock brakes can actually negate their stopping capabilities. Click. With older cars, it's not a good idea to brake while turning, as this can cause your car to skid. If your car has skid control, both anti-lock brakes and the ability to transfer power to the wheels with the most traction, steering while you brake is not a problem. Realize that the first time it rains after several days of non-rainy weather, the streets will be slick with a combination of water and rubber and oils deposited on the road by cars and trucks. These first-time rains often make the roads much more slippery than expected. Here in Northern California, it's been raining over the past few days. It will be dry for a few days, and then it is supposed to rain again. So that simple 4 to 5 days worth of dry weather can allow enough oil and rubber to build up on the asphalt to make that first day of rain extraordinarily slippery. Never use cruise control when it's raining. Cruise control does not account for weather conditions. When it's raining, your car may need a longer period of time to stop safely. Cruise control, not knowing this, could actually cause an accident. Realize that streets are not level. Water at the side of the road may be several feet deeper than it is in the middle of the street. Roads in downtown city areas are constructed with a slope so that water will run to the sides. Even if the water doesn't come up over the sidewalk, it will be another foot or two deeper at the edge of the road than it is in the middle. Drive as close to the middle of the road as you can without causing problems for traffic. You never want to drive through large puddles or flooded areas. They often are much deeper than they appear to be. The driver didn't make it through the pothole that he thought was simply a small pothole filled with water. This could actually cause damage to the car. And you don't want to have this happen, where your car floods out, kills the engine, or creates a situation where the steering is no longer effective due to the depth of the pothole that they went through. Never drive through water where you can't see the surface underneath it, and never drive through a pothole assuming that it is shallow. Even shallow water can prevent your brakes from working. You want to dry your brakes after driving through even a shallow puddle. Step on your brakes softly. Assure that the brakes are still effective at slowing the car. This is extremely important, especially in inner city driving, where if you go through a small puddle and then come to a stop sign and you step on your brakes for the first time when you get to the stop sign, your car may not slow at all, and you'll find yourself in the intersection or through the intersection before your car will come to a stop. Lightly depress your brakes until you feel your brakes start to stop the car. If you don't feel the effects of the brakes, let up. Press your brakes again, let up, press your brakes again, lightly each time until the brakes become effective again. It's called drying your brakes. You always want to make sure that if your car does skid to one side or the other, that you steer into the skid. This means that the rear end of the car is sliding out to the left, you want to steer to the left. If the rear end of the car is sliding to the right, you want to steer to the right. Don't overcorrect. How hard you turn on the steer depends on how hard the skid is. If you do overcorrect, you're going to have to turn your wheel back the other way to recorrect when the car slides past the center. Try to keep the front of the car pointed in the direction you want to go. As was stated previously, unless you have anti-lock brakes with skid control, do not slam your brakes on while skidding. Take your foot off the gas, gain control of the car, the direction that the car is going, Lightly at first, step on the brakes to come to a controlled stop. Traveling too fast in wet conditions can cause something called hydroplaning. Hydroplaning is when enough water gets under your tires to prevent your tires from actually touching the road. This prevents you from stopping or steering the car. Hydroplaning is caused by excessive speed in wet conditions, sharp turns or turns at high speed in wet conditions, or hitting your brakes too hard while the roads are wet. You can prevent hydroplaning by driving slower in the rain, assuring your tires have a good amount of tread, and assuring that your tires are properly inflated. Small amounts of water can cause hydroplaning, where water gets between the tire and the road, and you lose both stopping ability and steering ability. When it's raining, always give yourself more time to stop. Also realize not everyone else is as good at driving in the rain as you are. Be a defensive driver. Don't get close enough to others that their mistakes end up involving you. Follow from a safe distance with lots of room to stop. Remember, it's better to arrive late than not to arrive at all. Be safe out there. Slow down in the rain. Thank you for listening to Driver Safety, Driving in the Rain. This was the second of 4 total driver safety trainings. We've already seen what to do before driving in bad weather. Coming up in future weeks, videos on driving in the fog and freezing weather will follow. Please proceed to the quiz.